It's still the only one.
All right, we are back. So we're going to start with there's three categories of currency we're going to look at. The first is going to be artistic, the second is eras, and the third is novelties. So yeah, let's start with this bill right here. Let me hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to lift this camera up. There we go. Much better. All right, so what are we looking at here? We see one silver dollar.
Yeah, so this is a $1 silver certificate from 1896. There were three designs that were issued into circulation in that series: the $1, the $5, and the $10. No, excuse me, the 1, the 2, and the 5. And they were considered to be the most artistic American banknotes of all time. And rightly so, as you can see with the detail on these notes. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And
Brilliant.
And for that reason, they were taken out of circulation pretty quickly because bank tellers disliked them. It was very hard to tell the 1, the 2, and the 5 apart because they had such similar aesthetics to them. And they had a hard time counting them out and making sure they were giving their clients and their customers the right change. And so this era was short-lived, and these notes disappeared and forever became collectibles. And at this point,
What is the name of the presidents on the side here?
they're naming
Cooper, Irving, Lincoln, Sherman.
oh no, it's well, not some presidents, but a lot of noteworthy Americans were named around the side.
All right, we're going to move on to the second one.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
Oh, by the way, this guy's a fountain of knowledge. I kind of have to cut it off a little bit.
Oh yeah,
So,
Jimmy, feel free to stop me anytime because I can go on and on about these notes.
Well,
This is one of my favorites, and it is an iconic design. This is also a silver certificate like the last note, but issued much later, 1923. And it gets a nickname, the Portal Note, and for obvious reasons. It's one of the only notes where the portrait in the middle is surrounded by a perfect circle looking like a portal on a ship rather than an oval shape.
oh yeah, look at
And
that.
Lincoln, of course, in his iconic pose. And I just absolutely love this note, and I love the way that there's so much detail, and even on the reverse side, it just has that Art Deco look to it. There's only one short period of time in U.S. history where you can get away with this kind of design, and it just brings you right back to an era when I guess my great grandparents were meeting and enjoying life together. And
It has the rays like the Sea of Liberty.
isn't that lovely? The way that the design is just it's very classically American. It's unmistakable. And
It's kind of like these ink marks on the side there. It's like little, like almost like little hairs floating.
oh yeah, what you see that because there's a lot of white margin on the note, and so you get to see these little fibers. Paper money in the U.S. paper is kind of a misnomer. It's really a composite material, and it has a lot of actual fibers in it, cotton fibers, that make it sturdier. And when you have a note that has some empty white space in the design, that's where those little blue and red fibers pop up, and you get to see just what these notes are made of. And it's still the case today.
Oh yeah, you can see red, blue.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of fun. When you look in the fields, you'll see them.
Yeah, oh my God, that's really interesting. I did not know that. I thought, I mean, to the untrained eye and unknowledgeable person, they would think somebody,
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a pen writing on there or something.
yeah, a knicker.
But that was a prominent thing, at least in the early days of federally issued paper money.
You can see it here as well.
This is an iconic note as well. This is a different category of currency than the last two. This is a legal tender note, and you'll see the main difference is the red seal. These other notes have blue seals during that time. This is a red seal note, legal tender note, also considered to be a United States note categorically. And the bison is that iconic image.
The back is beautiful.
Back is a dynamite back. That's one of my favorite dramatic back designs on paper currency from that era. And these, by the way, these are all large size. I should mention that. This first run of banknotes that you're looking at, the first 6 or 7 notes, these are much larger than the notes that are in our purses and wallets today. Something like 40% larger. And so when you find circulated examples of these old banknotes, typically they have not just one fold in the center like the ones in your pocket, but they'll have 3 or 4 different folds in them. This is
Yeah,
nice,
this is such incredible art.
this is a good one too. And this particular specimen, it's been graded by PMG as being extremely fine.
It has a naked woman.
And the 2 portraits on either side, that's actually Lewis and Clark.
And a naked woman next to them.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yes. No, just had to be a little humorous here.
That doesn't fly anymore. You can't put naked women on those.
Not this day and age. It's politically incorrect.
Those days are over.
Yes, unfortunately.
Sometimes we enjoy, the human figure.
Yes, definitely.
Now, you're into yet another category of...
And I just want to point out again, you could actually see the fibers in each one of these.
Oh yeah, this is a great one for that. I would agree. When I acquired this note, and I actually had this note sent out to the grader. This is the very first banknote that I personally sent to get graded. Most of the notes I buy have already been graded. And this is a gold certificate. This was backed in gold coin, actual gold coin, by the United States government when it was issued in 1922. So if you went to a Federal Reserve Bank, you could actually trade this banknote in for 20 gold dollars, actual gold. And my favorite part about old gold certificates from that era is the ink on the back. These were not greenbacks like most other money. This was gold ink on the back.
So there's actual gold in this.
Well, that would be nice, but I think they just went with plain old orange to try and mimic the gold. But it really it adds a special aesthetic to it, and kind of shows you that this is a different note. This is something special, and it's redeemable in gold where other types of currency was not.
All right, 2 more to go with the artistic currency.
Yeah, these
and again,
last 2.
This will be in chapters, so you could skip from artistic to era, and what was the other one?
Oh yeah, in the final category, we're going to have a couple of novelty notes.
Oh, novelty, just a few.
They sort of defy categorization, and you'll see why. It's fun. It's something to hang on for. But these final 2 large size notes in this run are both what are considered categorically to be national currency, and that's a type of currency that also no longer exists today. National currency notes were issued by individual banks. So, for instance, if you lived in a small town, in the case of the note that you're looking at here, it's Poughkeepsie, New York, and that if you lived in that town, you would go to that bank and they would be able to issue this currency to you. It would be printed by the Bureau of Engraving, but issued through that bank, and they got to put their own name on the bank and a charter number. And the charter number indicates that bank was approved to issue money in X percentage of what they actually possessed in deposits. And it's sort of a relic of the past to see paper money like this, and not very common. And it's been a long time since you've seen these spent in general circulation. And so a lot of them could be found like this one in very nice shape. It's almost uncirculated. It gets a PPQ designation from PCGS, which means premium paper quality. So,
It almost looks like a actual signature on it.
and these are hand signatures from the bankers of that particular bank branch. So these were sent to the bank from the Bureau of Engraving in sheets, and the bank gets to sign them and then cut them into individual notes themselves. And so some of the margins are uneven for that region because
The same for this next note.
Same on the next note. This is another national bank note from a different charter period in the amount of $10. This comes from Newport, New Hampshire, a specific bank that gets, I'll explain in a minute, but this is, I love the artwork of this note. I always found it to be one of the more iconic vignettes or set of vignettes on national currency. And I was searching for one to add to my collection, and I wanted it to be set apart by something distinctive. And in the case of this note, it's actually the charter number. It has an interesting charter number, and it's 888. And on the back of the note, it gives the charter number right in the middle. And that charter number is different for every issuing bank of the same design of note. And so why not have one that has just an unusual and fun charter number as an example to keep in the collection. So again, late 19th century paper money that did circulate and was redeemable not just at the bank of issue, but by any bank who took them seriously.
Just a thought here. It looks like the eagle has a shield underneath him, and he's perched on the coffin.
Oh, that's interesting. I should see what that design is really meant to be.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to find out exactly. I mean, me personally, I would like to know the ship here being built.
Oh yeah,
and then
there's so many
I think
stories.
Is this supposed to be Benjamin Franklin?
This is Benjamin Franklin discovering electricity with a kite.
Yeah, that's okay. That's pretty pretty cool.
On the right side is.
I never knew the boy that watched him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't recall hearing a boy in the story when back in high school and
They
whatever.
never talked about the boy, did they?
No.
They always skip that part of history. Somebody actually got to witness it.
All right, so we are going to move on to the eras.
Yeah, so paper money errors. This is an interesting category, and this really caught my attention when I was a kid as well. That that the Bureau of Engraving and Printing could actually screw up sometimes and create banknotes that had something wrong with them, something obviously wrong with them, and not notice, and then have those notes enter into circulation. And in the case of this note, this is just this is what a Federal Reserve note, a $20 bill, looked like before the year 2000. And in this particular case, it's considered to be an error note because if you look at it from the front side, the lower left corner got folded when it was still part of a large sheet of maybe 20 or 30 or more specimens. And what happened was the printing for the front ended up on that fold, so that if you were to unfold this note and look at it from the back, you would see a little piece of the front on it. And
it
so
merged.
A really interesting oddity, and it doesn't happen too often. So to find a note like this is kind of to find one in circulation.
Well, obviously it's
especially
unique.
exciting.
Yeah, you're not going to find it anywhere.
That's particularly exciting. And again, from that same era, here's a Federal Reserve note in the $10 denomination. And if you look at it right away, something seems wrong right from the start. Something's missing. There's a lot of open space on this note. And what happened was it was missing its overprint. When paper currency is printed, first the black print goes on, and then afterwards a second printing goes on, which is the green ink. That has the seal and the serial numbers. So instead of being on the front, they somehow ended on the back. And that was because of a mistake during the time of printing where the large sheets full of uncut paper money, were inserted into the printing machine for the third printing in the wrong direction. And so in this case it was upside down. And so the serial numbers that were supposed to be on the front ended up on the back. So a novelty for sure, and one that collectors definitely like to pay a premium for.
All right.
Here's something a little bit more unusual. It's the type of
And
error
not obvious.
This is a totally unobvious error.
Yeah, I can't see any.
You have to get way in on the black seal on the left side that shows the Federal Reserve Bank, and you'll see that there's some missing print.
Oh yeah, from the F going forward to then RE. Oh yeah, Federal. Yeah.
You got it. And this is an error that's so rare that it's not even listed yet in the official paper money guide to errors. And I discovered it last year and was able to acquire it. And at this point, I'm not quite sure what to think of it. This could be something that's really valuable, or it could be something that nobody cares about. But I'm banking on the first.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure people, serious collectors such as yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely a very geeky era. So we're going to see.
Yeah, you want all the errors. You don't want a few. You want every single error out there in your collection.
We want to know what you guys think too. Is that the kind of error that you would take seriously? Now this is interesting too, because the first thing that you'll note about this note is that next to the serial number is a star. So that's what's called a star note. A star note replaces a note that was damaged during the time of printing. So sometimes an entire sheet gets damaged and it gets caught. They remove those notes, discard them, destroy them, but then they have to print another sheet to make up for those serial numbers. And in this case, this note comes from that sheet, and they have to add a star to indicate that this is a replacement note. But what's unique about this is that it's also an error note. When you see a star note, it's almost never an error because it replaced the error.
So I noticed most of your currency collection is PCGS. Are they like the top dog when it comes to
I would say
grading and sealing?
yeah, one of them for sure. PCGS is considered to be at the elite end of the third-party grading service for paper money, as would be PMG. There are a few others that I take relatively seriously, but these are the ones that I think that you
PMG. I haven't heard of PMG actually.
Yeah, paper money guarantee.
Oh, okay.
They are definitely at the top of the game as far as third-party services go, and I would trust their reviewers and their graders more than most.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to cover that because this is a lot of. I mean, we talk about coins quite a bit, but I keep on learning something from this fellow. Hopefully, one day we can inspire him to maybe possibly start his own channel. Maybe, yeah, this video will do that.
You think I have it in me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just definitely you have it in you. I mean, you need to share your knowledge with the world here.
I love talking about this stuff, but I also love sharing the notes with the world. That's the most important part.
True.
This is an
All right.
interesting.
So now these are the the third category.
Oh yes, and now we're into novelties.
Novelties, yes.
We have two interesting notes for you here. This is one that I picked up not too long ago, and I'm glad that it's graded and encapsulated because it's preserving it for generations to come. This is a note where you'll see the treasurer. The treasurer. Every Federal Reserve note has a treasurer signature printed onto it. And in this case, there's a second version of the treasurer signature, and it's a hand autograph. And that was Assie Taylor Morton, and she was the very first, and to this day the only, African-American U.S. treasurer. And she was appointed by President Carter in the 1970s, and she served until he left office in 81. And here's a rare note that she actually hand-signed. It's a Federal Reserve note from 1981. This is the way that $5 looked in our pockets back again before the 21st century, with a nice courtesy autograph on it. So it's kind of fun to have that piece of history as part of my collection.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Isn't that fun? And then,
all right,
this
so
final note.
for the final bill.
This is my favorite novelty of all time, and I discovered this one. I purchased about 10 years ago an entire a whole pack of 100 $2 bills, brand new uncirculated $100 $2 bills. No, excuse me, 100 different $2 bills, all uncirculated, with consecutive serial numbers. And what happens is when you buy a pack like that, when you acquire a pack, there'll be one note that's pulled out, and this is for quality control purposes. They'll pull one note out and they'll replace it with a star note. And in the case of this note, and I just happened to find it in the pack, the star note has an interesting serial number. And if you look at the serial number, it's exactly the same if you hold the note upside down. 00069 000. It doesn't change when you turn it over. And so the fact that it has that novelty serial number and is a star note and is a gem uncirculated condition, it's never been touched. This is one that I think is a contender for me to send out to PMG or PCGS and have them grade it and see if somebody might be interested in acquiring something very special that you almost never see. Is that for the geek? Is that too geeky? I want to know from your audience.
No, you're totally not too geeky. I would say
I want to know what they think. I want them to give some feedback on this.
Okay,
folks. Is that too geeky a thing? Is that something that if you were a paper money collector that you would pay a premium for, or would you just sort of laugh at it?
Yeah, leave in the comments below, please. I think you should get it graded.
Yeah, I think it's going in. It's gonna go with my next batch, I think.
Yeah, it's part of the hobby. You have to just take the risk every once in a while.
Yeah, and you want to preserve these things.
And, yeah, definitely. Again, articles, just relics of the past. You were keeping secure, and
That's what I love.
And now it's shared with the world here.
It's hard to do with paper money to keep it nice, but we did it.
Yeah. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe we could inspire this fella to start his own channel and share some of his knowledge. He mostly, your number one is currency. Coins is number two,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, paper money is my first love for sure. Ever since my father came home and with a wad of money in his pocket the day he got paid, and I saw my first $100 bill and couldn't believe that it existed, let alone it was right there.
Yeah.
And so I was hooked forever.
Yeah. So there you have it, the story of a very early coin collector, pretty much. You don't stack silver, right?
I have a few things in silver, but you know,
All right.
I'm a paper guy.
All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely, please like, love, and subscribe, and leave comments below. Thank you very much for stopping by. Silver Wolves out.